Hello, everyone. Welcome to Unmuted Love. This is C. Eshelman, and you know what? I'm having a quiet sit down with Emma Gleadhill, who is a youth whisperer and parent whisperer at different times in her life and different roles she's played. And some of you might think I'm that too. And we're just going to have a quiet conversation today, and let's see where it takes us. All right? We don't know, but we have an idea. And so hopefully this will help you. So stay tuned as we move into this probably first time we're having a quiet conversation on Unmuted Love. Welcome, Emma. I'm so happy to have you here today for this quiet conversation. I know it's not going to be quiet, is it? Neither of us are particularly quiet types. I'm happy to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here. It's a wonderful podcast, and I'm enjoying getting to know your work and getting to know you. So let's have that quiet chat.
Okay, let's go. I know what it's like to not be able to make myself do what people want me to do. I don't always know why. And I talk to teenagers, right? Youth who are expected to go to school, get up, do everything, get all done, move on down the road, go to school, do all the things. And they have a hard time. And I have a hard time. You're kind of a person who does this in life, and I wonder what you would say, or what's your experience with that kind of thing?
I've been both sides of the going to school situation as a pupil myself, and also as a teacher, and then later on as a performance coach working with kids who really struggle around some of those things, and something will just come up. It's like a whoosh, a whoosh, like a no.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like a no, or a what the fill in the blank, right?
Well, you can say it here. What?
I'm being good.
You're being good.
I'm normally
okay.
very bad.
I know, me too. So, all right.
And so I've spent many years working with young people, trying to give them the skills, trying to give them the tools. You can do that, and you can do that, and you can do that. But one of the things that I think accelerates that sort of strength of that thing that you haven't chosen, you haven't thought strategically, I don't want to do this, so I'm going to make a massive fuss. Right. It just whooshes up.
Right. It's almost like that's what people say. You're doing it on purpose to not have to.
Yeah. And here it is. Aggression.
Mm-hmm.
Aggression. Big actions, big bad words, destruction.
Mm-hmm.
You can think about skills, you can think about all of that kind of thing. But in the moment when that happens, that's something else that's not easy to control. It's easy to turn back time in your head and say, I shouldn't have done that. That was wrong. I'm so sorry. But with all of that comes the sense of shame.
Mm-hmm. Big shame.
I shouldn't be doing that. It was wrong. I should be able to control myself.
Mm-hmm. And I'm bad. I'm bad because I can't.
Right. Yeah. Life happens in moments. And if you can't control those moments, then what do you have?
Failure.
So,
failure.
Yeah. It's scary when you're in the grip of it.
All right. So fear first, then failure, right? Fear, horrifying fear, and doom, right? A kind of doom feeling or dread, maybe.
And constant worry that you have to fix. You have to fix it. You have to have a do-over where you repair it because you happened and you couldn't see yourself happening, and you happened and it was bad. Mm-hmm. And that might be with people you love. It might be with people you're supposed to respect and obey, like in a school setting. It might be with your peers who you might really actually want to have good friendship with.
So then you're destroying it, right? You end up destroying things or making it so that it's very hard to make up, right? You can't make up easily, kind of when you say super mean things, and you're not meaning to say the mean things, but you do, and then everybody thinks you're meaning to. So now what? Right?
Yeah. Because where did it come from? It came from somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah, you must think that, really.
Yeah. But you're in scorched earth mode.
Right.
Whatever it was, whatever the trigger was, it has brought up something in you that's about survival. In that moment, it's about just get me out of here or get out of my face.
Mm-hmm.
And while I suppose as a teenager, I never experienced that as myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, I've had experience of working with kids and supporting with them. But right now, I'm having my second teenage.
You.
There's this thing that's kind of like the female companion piece to teenagedom called the menopause. My hormones are going up and down.
Mm-hmm.
This last weekend, suddenly the heat, both emotionally and physically, built inside me. And I was on the shortest of ropes.
Mm.
Suddenly, over the last couple of years where this has been a thing for me, I now get it because I will get myself into a place where it can just fiercely be there. And I've spent half my lifetime working out the science of the brain and the body and the survival instincts and trauma responses. And, I should be able to use my words and calm myself down. But when I'm in it,
Mm-hmm.
it's really, really hard. And I am struggling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really refreshing reminder to me that we're all part of this common humanity.
Mm-hmm. We're humans. Humans are like this sometimes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And especially if you're going through change in your life, especially if you've had really difficult experiences in the past, all of that comes right up out of the basement. And it's not something you've decided to do, to say or do something poisonous or destructive. It just kind of appears.
Right. Right.
And last weekend, I had to say to my teenage daughter, because, in this scenario, the tables are turned. She's levelly, emotionally intelligent, and I'm ready to, fume.
Mm-hmm.
And it just struck me, I said, oh my God, to my daughter, you're just gonna have to bear with me today. I'm feeling like the Terminator. It's like menonator, menopause, I just have to cool down, calm down, and I'm just not safe and social right now.
So what do you do in that moment? Like you have a big hammer in your hand, like in a cartoon, and you're hammering your daughter into the ground, like you can those old cartoons, Roadrunner cartoons, boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah.
metaphorically speaking, of course. But then what? What do you do in that moment? Because you're tearing her apart or breaking her down or whatever it is. I mean, now what?
I think it helps to have, particularly in people you're close with, a shared understanding of the pattern.
Oh yeah.
She sometimes just says, it's Menno, Mum.
She's understanding and empathic, right? She has empathy for you.
Yeah, she's not going to reason with me in that moment, and I'm not going to reason with myself in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, just having a label to call it gives her and me a timeout. Because the minute I go, oh my God, yeah, I'm in a rage, I'm in a bait, and unless I recognize it, I think it's called, being able to observe something means you're less hijacked by it. But in that moment, when my daughter said to me, Menno Mum, Menno Mum's here, and we might alternate that with Menonator,
Gives
but
a
yeah,
little levity there. Maybe later. Maybe not in the
when
moment.
when you're in rage, when you're in survival, when you are triggered, when your triggers are strong and powerful, just having the power to stop if you can. If there can be a kind of exchange to interrupt it,
A pause of some sort.
a pause of some sort, if it's possible at all.
And sometimes
But
it's
I would
not.
say, for me, actually having something to name it so that the rage is not me, because in a way it's not me. It's a me, like the Incredible Hulk me kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's a transformed me,
Right.
and I'm in a space where I can't be empathic.
Mhm.
I can't be
Logical.
logical.
Can't make
I
sense.
can't be maternal, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
My daughter's there, but I'm so infuriated by something really small. It might be like, I just can't find the jumper I was looking for.
So in the United States, a jumper is a sweater. Is that right?
Right,
Yes.
exactly. I can't find the thing I'm looking for, or
Right.
I'm fumbling. I've dropped something. And suddenly that one thing is global, and I'm beyond frustrated. I'm enraged.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's not at anyone, it's not at anything. And I don't even, as you said at the beginning, I don't even understand where that came from,
Mhm.
but it's present. And I have to accept that I can be like that. And I need to be able to be better with that.
Well, I think we all know we need to be better, but how do we, I mean, is it okay to have compassion for yourself, I guess is what I'm saying. Is it okay to be gentle with yourself when you have just been the,
Aggressor.
crazy mommy, and crazy teenager is what it looks like, right? It looks like that. Is it okay? Because doesn't that make it worse? Doesn't that tell some part of you that, hey, it's okay? Whenever you feel this way, just blow. If you are gentle with yourself and compassionate, and so that you don't have to feel all that shame, I get that. So what? It's sort of like shame or what? What's the alternative to the shame? I get compassion, but eh, I don't get that really what that is in real time.
I think how you sort of see yourself in that moment, having that point of recognition, if you're then just literally shouting at yourself internally, going, why did you do that? You're doing that thing. You did the, you're a bad person. That's not helping you come back to yourself. That's the equivalent. You're kind of becoming your own sort of judge and damnator. You're heaping judgment and damnation upon yourself and shame, and it's all angry, really.
Right. Well, other people
It,
are angry too at you for your behavior. So it
yeah.
seems right. It seems like, yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not okay for
Mhm,
me as a mother
mhm.
to be a rageful presence
Or for anyone,
for
right?
for
For
anyone,
anyone to be
for
that, right?
anyone, and
Yeah.
that's not how I would choose to be.
Mhm.
But I have to accept that from time to time,
Yeah.
I will get into a state where I'm easily triggered.
Yeah.
As I say, I don't approve of being aggressive, of being full of rage, or treating other people like a punch bag. That's not what I'm saying, and I don't think anyone listening to this would agree and would feel good about that again and again, because you don't want to be that person that people are afraid of, wary of, cautious around. You want to be able to get back to yourself. For me, with maybe a bit of recognition, humor, and a bit of just sort of understanding. Here's rage.
Yeah.
I'm in rage. I'm not in myself.
Yeah.
And without heaping on any blame, without heaping any extra kerosene on that fire that's raging,
Mhm.
to just go, okay, here's rage.
Mhm.
In the aftermath, when you're going to have to be doing those mop ups anyway.
Right. You're talking repair now,
Yeah,
making up,
yeah.
saying you're
But
sorry.
before you can do any of that, trying to just accept I was there, I was in rage.
It's fascinating. As I work with a lot of youth, and they come to me. Well, they're made to come to me. If you're a youth listening to this, you know that you've been made to come to someone like me because I am a therapist and a parent coach. And so you've been made to come to my office and talk to me about what Emma's talking about inside you, right? And I'm supposed to teach you how not to have that. And you don't want to be here. And you're just holding down that same rage so that you're not taking it out on me in that moment. Sometimes you do, but you usually don't, right? You sort of swallow it and hold it down and keep it in. And what ends up happening, what I hear, and this is interesting because what I hear is it's her, right? You're the mom and you're behaving like that. And so how I behave? How come I'm here? Why isn't mom here? Why isn't mom in therapy learning how not to do that? And I'm here, so I'm supposed to learn how to do that. And then I'm not able to learn how to do that because I can't figure it out. And then I'm bad, but she's fine. Now, I don't hear you saying that, but I hear a lot of youth saying that. And I'm sort of like, yeah, well, it's not okay for really any of us to unload this rage on people. And we do sometimes. And so then what? Okay, so that's when we're in the heat of it, right? So there has to be some way. I mean, first of all, not everybody has this much going on in a household all the time. So there's something going on in each person, and there's something going on in the dynamic, right, between the people. And I totally get that. But then, okay, but why is life so hard for youth? Like you're an expert in this, and so I'm asking you that because you work with so many youth, and I do too, but I don't feel like I'm an expert in it. And I wonder about this, how hard it is for some youth who come from difficult beginnings, perhaps adoption, neglect, abuse of some sort, abandonment feelings, right? All of that in early childhood. Sometimes they don't, my youth that I'm working with, they don't remember that. Of course, they were babies or a couple of years old. It's the memory's gone, but the feelings persist, right? So that's there.
Right.
And we do know that. And kids have been told that forever and they know it's in them. And somehow that makes it bad too, right? It's in me. I didn't do it, but it's now me. And now I'm doing it. So now I'm the bad person, right? There's a whole bunch of things in that thinking process. But what I'm wondering about is way ahead of the game before the rage. Like, why is it so hard to just get up in the morning sometimes? To get in the shower, to brush the damn teeth, to all the things, right? And then, there's a mom at the door, a dad at the door, come on, come on, come on. You're going to be late, right? Kind of clawing at the door. I'm exaggerating, but it kind of feels that way. And then I can hardly do it. Like, F the toothbrush, not doing this. And then just wanting to go back and lay down and be done. And I know that sounds like tired, but it happens all the time. Morning, I could say, well, I'm tired. But, well, when it happens after school or just the thought of going to school just feels like pushing a big old boulder up a hill to go in there and face like 30 people, teachers demanding me to take a test or where's your homework or you need to do your homework, young lady, crap like that. That feels shaming and horrible. And I already feel bad and right. What do you do when you have that? Like, what's the answer to that? Because that's what leads to that big rage explosion eventually, right? Is that I'm not effing going to do this. And even though that's not really what wasn't your original thought, that's what it comes out as eventually. And then, maybe you throw a lamp. So now you have all that to deal with too. But what about all that? Like, I can't make myself. I'm having a hard time making myself. Or everything I have to do is like walking through quicksand or mud. There's shame around every corner. There's something I didn't do around every corner. Something I'm doing wrong everywhere I go. Everyone I talk to has some kind of comment about me. Sometimes even the ones that are like, "Oh, you did a good job washing the dishes." I just want to lose it right there. Like, I'm not an idiot. I know how to wash the dishes. I totally am embodying right now the youth who sit on the other side of the room from me, how it feels like it's like an elephant sitting on my chest right now with the weight of all of that.
It
That feels
feels so heavy.
horrible.
And what can, I mean, that just makes me feel helpless.
Right.
I get that. I get that. What could I, as a 50-something-year-old adult, say to that?
And what can I, as a 14-year-old, say to you?
Mm,
You don't get it.
yeah. You're heading for a complete kind of clash there, which
Totally.
is, suck it up, buttercup. I've got to pay my taxes and I've got to pay the rent and the mortgage and the
Yeah.
food bills.
I don't
I
want to go
have
to
to
work
do stuff.
either.
Yeah, exactly. We're in this sort of race to the bottom
Yeah.
of life is miserable.
Hmm. Who's more miserable?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the human condition. So much work and demand and stressors. A lot. It's a lot. It's way more than until I said this to you, my head was a little bit above it. My body wasn't in it. I was sort of more like
Mm,
thinking about it.
mm,
And now I've
mm.
sort of embodied it. And I'm like, ah,
And the more that question went on, the more kind of dread I felt
yeah, yeah,
about what to do with it,
yeah,
what to do with it. And, going back to that idea about how do you hold yourself with tenderness,
yeah,
um, finding some way to do that
yeah.
as someone who might have a hard time right now,
Mhm.
as someone who might have had a very tough beginning,
Yeah,
as you said, neglect, abuse, abandonment, change of caregiver,
yeah, yeah,
you know, starting with that sense of you aren't really alone in that feeling that life is hard and life is tough, despite the idea that, we're so privileged, etc.
mm,
You know, we have the internet, we have all these things, we have, you know, dental hygiene and all of these things that make
right.
me, we're way out of the medieval swamp of constant chronic pain and suffering, um,
Supposedly, supposedly.
supposedly.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we are survivors.
Mhm.
We live, we breathe, we relate, we have our connections in life, we have small things that we need to cherish and to try to reconnect with and see as clearly as we can.
Yeah.
Because when life piles on top,
Mhm.
my last Sunday, I could give you a tale of misery that matches your 14-year-old angst,
Right.
you know, putting up the tree for my elderly mother, being in a care home that was really overheated, in a confined space where you couldn't move freely, and irritation after irritation, and the house hadn't been cleaned, and the Sunday meal hadn't been thought about, and ah,
Right.
you know, I'm not going to say that life is a bowl of sugar soup, and I don't think we would want it even if we had it.
Right. Right.
But
But
neither am I going to say that life is, unremitting bitterness and without salvation and without hope.
right,
Um,
because it's not. And I realize as we're talking, I'm seeing you, right, side by side me. And I'm thinking, oh, yes, we are both living, what is it, quiet lives of desperation, only ours are noisy.
mm,
And what's really true is that the antidote to misery is connection and love. And that's,
yeah.
I think, what gets lost between if I'm a youth and you're a mom and we're living these stressful lives of internal desperation, even in a first world country where we have everything, all the modern conveniences and all the tennis shoes and you can want. It doesn't change that. But what does change it? Because there's no answer, right? There's no like, oh, well, all you have to do is breathe. Okay, well, that is a tool, and you can in the moment over repetitious of reminders to yourself. Okay, just breathe, just breathe. But you have trouble with that. You're an adult.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
all youth have trouble with that because they're just haven't been on the planet for 57 years, whatever. But what's really true is that if we could see each other and honor each other's humanness, if I'm the youth for you, mom, and if you're the mom for me, the youth. And how we honor that is we have grace for each other. We are loving, actually loving in the moments of this upset. But it starts before the upset, right? The moments of loving start before the upset. Like for example, if you're having a difficult time with, taking care of your mom, you saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is hard for me. And maybe I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself right now in the midst of it. That's what I'm going to do for myself is maybe I'm going to sit down with mom and have a cup of tea before I take this on. Or maybe I'm going to go out on the porch without mom and take some breaths in the cool air. That's what you can do for yourself. But if I'm your mom or if I'm your child and you're my mom, I mean, if we've talked about this and we've had compassion for each other and empathy and connected around how we both are the same rather than one of us is different than the other. Like if I'm the youth, I'm thinking you're a monster
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
And I think if
That's a new one.
yeah, there's another name for you.
I like that one.
But if you're the mom, you're thinking of me as scary, damaged somehow, broken somehow, and violent somehow, like not good. You're frightened of me, frightened of my future. That's what it is. You're spending a lot of time futurizing about how I'm gonna, go to hell in a handbasket, whatever the heck that means. That's what my mother used to say. So we're thinking these things about each other in the moment. But what is the truth? We're the same. And what is the antidote? Recognizing it, right?
Yeah.
Just recognizing both sides. And it's not the youth can't always do it, right? Youth, I know you can't always do it. And moms, I do hold you a little more accountable for recognizing it's your job to start that ball rolling, right? That empathy ball, that compassion ball rolling in that direction for yourself and for your child, right? So I do hold you accountable for that because after all, you did sign on the line, as we say. You got the kids. It doesn't mean you're bad, but it does mean you have some responsibility for the connection and also for seeing your child as just like you, not different, and putting effort there rather than in this part that we've been talking about that's so hard and hopeless feeling, right?
Yeah.
So all this sounds pretty esoteric, except, I mean, I'm talking about having fun together, playfulness, cooking for each other, going out and looking at the full moon together, taking a hike together, going to, the coffee house together and listening to some music together or whatever, going to concerts together, whatever, all the rest of the time, right? So that your relationship is strong and connected and loving and compassionate for how little things can trigger both of us.
It's like a dance, isn't it?
Yeah.
One person changes the steps on the other person's shoes, or gives them a massive shove
Right.
in the wrong direction. And that's what you focus on. That's what you focus on because it's at 10 times the volume. The negative stuff feels at 10 times the volume. And then it gets turned up even more by the kind of scripts of shame that pile on above and beyond that. So in a way, the monster mum idea is kind of very shaming. Like, I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Finding a way to meet each other, as you say, connect over the good stuff and be able to be accountable over the really difficult stuff means being able to kind of be honest about what happened there, what it felt like, and to be able to start to use that relationship to unpack the kind of physicality of it with less shame, with less judgment, but with a bit more honesty, and to be received with openness and care. That can be really helpful to sort of say, I see that, I understand that. And the more we can do that within ourselves around those points of human struggle, the less catastrophic they will be each time, in a way.
In a way, yeah. And also
Over
just
time. It's not
recognizing that
there's
everybody
no
is
magic
good.
wand here for it, is
No,
there?
no. And
It's not
just
like,
having
I
some
give it a
awareness.
funny, I give it a funny name and it goes away.
Yeah, no.
No, but being able to have a sense of recognition within that bond where there's a lot of good, there's a lot of daily interactions and richness and activity and sharedness. But when the bad stuff, the difficult stuff, the problematic stuff crops up, and maybe you go through a long phase of it cropping up again and again and again, you're able to unpack it afterwards. You, of course, are going to need to do repair work, both sides. But that's why it's important that, if it's the parent who's struggling, they get help. If it's the young person struggling, that they both are part of the dance movements that create either harmony or
Explosion.
explosion. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
This has been a really fun exploration, really, for me, of the experience of it, to just get into it, and watching your face, like I'm watching your own face just get red as you're talking about your own frustration with yourself and your experience. And I'm having that visceral feeling, and also just getting some clarity around, you know what? It's stressful for parents to get up and take a shower and brush their teeth and get dressed in the right clothes and go and face their boss or their job or whatever the thing is too. And in the back of their mind, they're like, oh yeah, what are we going to have for dinner? Or, oh gosh, that bill's not paid. And oh, I have to repair with my partner because I said something mean this morning on the way out the door. And I have to make sure I pick up the kids. And, so that's happening. And on the other side, it's stressful for youth, same way. It's hard to get up in the morning. It's hard to go through taking a shower and brushing teeth and putting shoes on and facing it all. We are in this together, and it is hard. It is as hard as it feels for both of us. It isn't easier to be one side or the other, actually.
Yeah.
Having some communication about it outside the blow up, right? About, hey, you know what? We're in this together. We're a team. We're on the same team. I'm for you. And mom, to me, as the youth, I'm for you, right? We're for each other because we want the best. And we just can't always in the moment remember that. And that's okay, because that's why we have repair. That's why our humanness wants to come forward. As soon as that calm down comes in, you're like, oh, I said some super mean things. I don't want that. So I can have remorse, and say, I'm sorry. I didn't mean those things. They leave little wounds. They do. And we can heal. That's what repair does. It's a Band-Aid. It's some salve on it. It's time.
Absolutely.
Heal it, right?
But the thing I would remember is that when we're healing a physical wound, we do that with care and attention. We don't do it with roughness.
Right.
Right. And emotionally and psychologically, we can handle ourselves with roughness when repair needs to be made, or we can be a bit more caring, tender around that wound, around that hurt. That softening helps us reconnect, I think.
Yeah.
If we can soften into kindness, if we can soften into connection, if we can soften into a bit of humor as we own our flawedness, right, our humanity, then that can help.
Yes, very much so. Emma, thank you so much for joining me here. You all have been listening to Emma Gleadhill. Did I get it right?
Gleadhill.
Gleadhill. It's pronounced differently here, I think. And C. Eshelman. And I am your host for Unmuted Love. Thank you for being here and listening.
Thank you for having me.